The speaker in every classroom at Somerville Grammar School crackles on at the same time because it is time for the morning announcements. Hello, Somerville Grammar School. These are your morning announcements, and I am, as always, your assistant principal, Chomsky Noman. First, congratulations to the volunteer mural group for their great submissions for this year's mural. The teachers and staff will review them and put the final two options up for a school-wide vote. Second, lunch today is spaghetti and either meatballs or soy balls. If you answer the kitchen staff's trivia question correctly, you will get 2 pieces of garlic bread instead of 1. Finally, Mr. Vonner's leave has been extended, so we will be welcoming a new long-term substitute to the Somerville Grammar School family. Please welcome Mr. Magnus when you see him. That is all, and have a gloriously Somerville day.
Mindy. I start shaking her desk. Mindy, what's the answer to
what?
I need to know the answer to the trivia question.
I had just organized my erasers.
Yeah, I need to know the answer to the trivia question. Slams desk. Please.
I don't know what the trivia question is.
It's a secret. How do you not know a secret?
I'll find out for you by the end of the day. By lunch.
By lunch. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Mindy. Okay, I'll find out by lunch.
Mindy.
Thank you.
Mindy.
What is it, Darby?
Can I trade my my dolphin eraser for your giraffe eraser?
Absolutely.
Yes!
Good grade.
Minnie.
What?
Sorry. Do you know, have you seen Mr. Magnus yet?
Oh, yeah.
No, I don't know who Mr. Magnus is. Have you seen Mr. Magnus?
Game Master, do I know Mr. Magnus?
No.
I feel like I know every single teacher here. I don't know Mr. Magnus at all.
Yes.
Mr. Game Master, do I know Mr. Magnus?
No. Now, very rarely in Blittle League is the answer ever no. But with Mr. Magnus, he is a complete mystery to all of you. The question is, of course, is he your teacher?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at this moment, so for morning announcements, one of the kind of assistant teachers or floating substitutes has been in, and it's essentially a substitute that was here for the morning because Mr. Magnus will be coming in a few minutes. And so all of you have been, kind of wondering who is Mr. Magnus ever since the announcement. And Morgan, who knows everybody, does not know. And Zlobs, who is always a font of interesting information, also doesn't know. So
they call me potpourri.
Indeed. That said, Morgan, I will give you a 2d6 plus sharp roll to see if you've at least heard of Mr. Magnus.
I got an 8.
Okay, partial success. I'll give you 2 choices. You can either get a sense of where they used to be or get a sense of their reputation.
I feel like I probably dropped by the teacher's lounge and heard a whisper or two.
Yes. So that would be about what they're all about, what Mr. Magnus is all about, the reputation.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not entirely sure where Mr. Magnus is coming from, but the sense you get is that Mr. Magnus is, according to the other teachers who have apparently kind of looked him up, he apparently comes in with a really great reputation for connecting with students. Very personable, very friendly, the kind of substitute that makes the class their own instead of just someone that kind of holds a place. So apparently Mr. Magnus is incredibly engaging.
I hear Mr. Magnus is a one of a kind. I hear he's going to try to connect with us.
Good.
Yeah.
Maybe even more so than the teacher that he is substituting for.
Mr. Vonner. Yeah, what happened to him?
Vonner. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Mr. Vonner? Mr. Vonner's been out for a couple of weeks for some kind of something. There's always rumors about why a teacher is out for any length of time.
Oh, there's a big rumor that he's actually part of Nirvana, that he's going on tour.
Yeah, there's Mr. Vonner's secretly in a band. Mr. Vonner won the lottery. Mr. Vonner is going overseas. Mr. Vonner is
he
is
died
in some
twice
kind of
already.
medical. Yep. Oh yeah. So
he came back from the dead. I know it.
So apparently, Mr. Vonner will not be returning from the dead anytime soon. And with that, you're all kind of thinking about, well, all right, what are we doing? Got a new teacher, what will the power dynamic be? And the substitute that's kind of minding the class for now hears a knock on the door and opens it up. And chat, I need a couple of words that I will choose from regarding what Mr. Magnus looks like. So if the chat floats out a couple, I will pick a couple. They're already good ones.
Extended leave of death.
It happens.
These are some good ones.
I'll take the first two. Ominous and suave. So despite what Morgan said, you're trying to picture like what a super engaging kind of one of a kind teacher will look like, and you're thinking, suspenders, we'll do, like a duffel bag full of toys. Like you're trying to figure it out. And the substitute kind of says goodbye to everyone, opens the door, and in walks a very smartly put together man. Kind of very kind of smooth, slicked back, no hair out of place hair. He's wearing a rather large watch, wearing kind of shoes that make kind of a crisp snapping noise when they hit the terrazzo floors. He walks in, doesn't make eye contact with any of you until he walks up to his desk, puts his briefcase on it, opens it up, takes a couple of things out, closes his briefcase, and then and only then does he look up at all of you and say, "Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Magnus."
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning.
I'm Zlobs.
I stand up and walk over. Hi, I'm Morgan Woodstock. It's really nice to meet you.
Will all of your other classmates walk up and introduce themselves?
I'm usually the only one that does it, and I go back to my seat. I think Mathers has a question. Sorry,
yes,
Mindy
a question.
Mr. Magnus?
Yes.
My name is Mindy Mathers, and I'm this month's classroom helper.
What does a classroom helper do?
Sorry. A classroom helper helps lead the line, or pass out papers, or empty the pencil shavings in the sharpener.
And they also get to go to lunch early.
Is the early lunch payment for services for the betterment of the class? Does such a thing need to be incentivized here?
Not for Mindy.
Not her, yeah. She
No,
always
not-
she's every month's class helper.
Well, only just for these first 5 months of school.
I see. You just
I
kinda
think the
let
early lunch is
silence
sort of a
hang.
privilege.
Does it remain a privilege?
I feel privileged to do it.
Hey, Darby, is this guy a demon?
I don't think so. I can't really get a good read on him, though. He seems pretty human to me, though.
Zlobs and Darby, would you mind having that conversation at full volume, please?
Oh,
for the
yeah,
benefit
sure.
Of the rest of the class.
Hey, Darby, do you think this guy's a demon?
I don't think so. He seems pretty human to me, but I can't get a good read on him.
I cheat out towards the audience. Oh, well, how do you get a good read on him?
By looking and sort of tuning in to not, like other people tune in,
What?
but like kind of just trying to really be sensitive to what I see in his eyes, if that makes sense.
No, but I trust you.
He's got really good control. You have really good... You're very purposeful, Mr. Magnus, in how you present yourself. I don't think you're a demon. Is that correct?
Please open up your math books to chapter 4.
He didn't answer.
Yeah, he didn't say no.
I get a text message.
Again.
Sorry, I gotta respond. 1 second.
Morgan Woodstock, would you mind saying what you are texting for the benefit of the rest of the class?
Talk to you at 7. What about opening up page book?
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4, right.
Well, Morgan, this does not seem necessarily like the rumors you hear from the teachers. This person appears to be, at minimum, all business. Mindy. Are you trying to get Mr. Magnus's attention?
Yeah.
Do you have a question, Mindy Mathers, about chapter 4?
No.
What is your question?
It's just that I'm afraid we haven't made a very good impression. And we're actually an excellent class.
It's true. We're a little rough
Yeah.
around the edges, but we clean up good.
Yeah,
But you have not cleaned up yet.
I
You
don't
all
think we get to
lament
work
the
on our
lack of
math.
a quality first impression. Zlob asserts that you clean up well.
Yeah.
It stands to reason that you have not cleaned up yet. Hence why the first impression was poor.
Ooh.
If you wanted to make a good first impression, you would have.
Oh, we could try again.
I stand up and walk over. Hi, I'm Morgan Woodstock. Nice to meet ya. And I show my cell phone and put it on silent. Doot, doot, doot.
I get up and I follow Morgan.
I also get up and follow Darby.
Good morning. My name is Darby O'Darcy. Thank you for being our teacher.
Hi, my name's Zlobs. You can call me
back.
Zlobs. I don't think you're a demon, and I high five him.
He gives you a high five back after pondering it for a quarter second.
I shoot him a finger gun and I walk back to my desk.
A couple other students start getting up.
Mathers, you don't want to get up.
Mindy, you don't want to leave a bad impression. You have to help her. You have to help us. You have to help the teacher.
He said to open our math books.
They're open.
Mathers, what page was I supposed to open it to?
I don't remember.
Chapter 4, Morgan. Chapter 4.
Chapter 4. Oh, thank you.
Wait,
Thank
Mindy?
you.
Mindy, are you okay? You didn't remember something? Hey, Mr. Magnus. I need to call a timeout. We need to have a quick huddle up in the hallway, if that's okay.
Mindy, you are the class helper. Please mind the class while Zlobs and I have a quick huddle up in the hallway.
Wait, what?
No.
No, I'm sorry. You misunderstood what
I will see you in the hallway.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Mr. Magnus.
I go to the hallway.
Mr. Magnus is standing there looking at you.
Hi. I'm sorry. I must have not been. Mr. Bonner lets us sometimes do huddle ups. Something seems to be amiss. You're looking at me with very intense eyes.
Is there something you would like to discuss?
Oh, just just some stuff. But Mindy's would seem to be in some trouble. I thought we could help her as a team. We're Blittle Leaguers, and we help each other out. We're on the Sunflowers.
Mindy,
That's
it's
fair.
okay.
Are you looking forward to the season?
Of course I am. We had such a great last season, and I think that the season might be our season where we win it all. It's gonna be really fun. All my friends are back. Well, most of my friends are back because my friends graduated, but we have some new friends as well. It's gonna be
Would
fun.
you say that these new friends match the departing friends in skill and passion for the game?
Passion to be determined, to be honest. But they're younger. But we got stronger, so I'd say we're probably even out. Yeah, we don't know yet. There's still plenty of time to grow. I mean, we're always growing. We're all growing. You know, we're just like we're like sunflowers. We're always growing. You know.
What do you think the sunflower's weakness is?
Weakness? Probably fire. Or
Mathers.
probably really flammable. Pointy objects.
Mathers, how are you doing? Are you holding up okay?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm just trying to be a good class helper.
You are a good class helper, Mindy. He's just trying. I think he's trying to pull one of those things where it's like you start really stern, like teachers do, because it's like it's easier to loosen up than tighten up. I think I heard them say once. It's like they got to start strict and like make an impression so that people in the class don't act out. It's like that's on him. That's not on you.
Yeah. I mean, if most people get hit by a car, this probably bad for them. For me, I'm probably fine. It depends on the car. And then probably explosives. I don't think that's an exhaustive list, but it's a very long list.
Mr. Magnus paid careful attention, thoughtful attention to all of that, and kind of nodded, said, "Great.
Mhm.
Thank you for the huddle."
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I walk back in the class all proud.
And Mr. Magnus walks back in. Mindy, how was the class while we were out?
To give a full report, Mr. Magnus, me, Morgan, and Darby had a side conversation.
Do you think it is important for me or the rest of the class to know about that side conversation?
No.
Is there anything that is stopping us from beginning our work on chapter 4 of our math book?
Probably this conversation you and I are having right now?
Also, I forgot to read chapter 3.
Oh, thank goodness you said something. I didn't read it either.
Chapter 4 starts with an aptitude quiz on chapter 3.
Okay. I would like to read Mr. Magnus's mind about how I can get him to think I'm a good class helper.
2d6 plus weird, please.
This is so stressful.
5.
Okay.
No.
There's some things about Mr. Magnus that are about to dramatically change.
Like his hairstyle
No.
or his briefcase color.
When you hear John start typing on the keyboard.
John, you sound sad. You sound full of regret.
Oh, that's fine.
Is this a romp?
We're just kids. We're just kids.
Mindy, this is not a scan of surface level thoughts. You need to kind of get a little bit into the personality. Because you're trying to assess Mr. Magnus's thoughts on people, which are not surface level thoughts unless he's actively thinking about a person. The surface level thoughts are, so you kind of have to punch through that layer. And the surface level thoughts are very, very ordered. I'm about to teach math. I'm about to teach math to these students. We are starting with chapter 4. Their names are boop, 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 boop. Like it's almost like it's the surface level thought equivalent of elevator music. And then you kind of punch through that and you start rummaging around into his thoughts on people, individual people. And yet below those surface level thoughts are nothing. Nothing at all. A big empty room. In fact, it's so empty it's not even a room at all. It is a featureless plane.
I'm not gonna
Mindy,
pass.
you're crying.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Mindy, you okay? Mindy?
I'll send a message to Zlobs mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Something's wrong with Mr. Magnus.
What's wrong with Mr. Magnus?
What's wrong with Mr. Magnus?
He's empty.
Mr. Magnus is empty? Yeah, looks pretty full.
He's walking around the class handing out one-page quizzes.
Mr. Magnus,
Mindy,
I brought you something.
is now the appropriate time for you to give me this something.
It's just an apple from my lunch.
Don't you need that apple for lunch?
I always bring an extra in case there's a new teacher in the school.
That tracks.
Mindy, 2d6 plus charm.
Oh, no. 7?
What do you want to happen? Like, how do you want this interaction to go?
I want to see if he'll take a bite of the apple.
He takes the apple and looks at you for a moment. Thank you. And he puts it on his desk. You kind of touch the surface level thoughts again, and they are an apple. I will eat it during the break.
Okay, I'm done.
Zlobs,
Uh-oh.
2d6 plus sharp, please.
Oh, I'm actually pretty sharp. 9.
You put it on his desk, and he gives it a quick scan. Passing. It appears you've read chapter 3.
Oh, it's funny. I did not.
May I see your quiz for a moment?
Sure.
The check is turned to a check minus, and he
wait, hold on. Wait, no, why did you? Okay, I passed it. I take it and go back to my desk, grumbling. Well, I just didn't think. Sorry, I knew about this before. I can calculate angles.
Mr. Magnus, here you go. I'm going to hand him a completely blank quiz. Pretty sure I passed.
Morgan, 2d6 plus sharp, please.
9.
Okay. I'm going to give you a couple of options. Well, I guess the question is this. How do you want this interaction to go? What are you trying to prove or provoke?
I want... that whole passing grade didn't seem very genuine to me, so I'm sort of testing that. And what I want is more information.
Okay. The choice you get here, should you choose to accept it, he will grade it, and you can ask one question from the investigative mystery list.
Mm-hmm.
The consequence, though, is you will go to the principal's office.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I think
Morgan, don't do it.
Please ask one question from investigative mystery.
What is being concealed?
What is being concealed is, well, the true identity of this person who is not, in fact, Mr. Magnus.
All right.
Now, the way kind of you get a sense of this is, teachers don't generally kind of foist effusive praise upon a new substitute before they arrive, unless they're really unique and interesting in some way. But, you camped out outside the teacher's lounge and you heard he's very affable. He's very friendly. His last school, my cousin's a teacher there, and he said Mr. Magnus was beloved and he volunteered for this and that. And it was, 3 or 4 different teachers very positively, saying that they're looking forward to meeting Mr. Magnus. And this is just not that. Mm-hmm. So unless the entire collection of teachers at this school all universally were wrong about this guy, unless that was the case, the surmise that you make is that this is not Mr. Magnus. And it doesn't say, he's just too different. Yeah. And you're kind of looking at that and you're like, well, yeah. And because of what you have seen and experienced, you think, well, maybe he is a demon. Maybe he's a robot. And you're just kind of observing as he just kind of stares at your blank quiz for 1 extra second more than he needs to, before writing something on it and handing it back to you. And it says, please report to the assistant principal.
I'm going to rip it in half and I'm going to say, you're not who I was told that you were.
What?
Mrs. Applebaum vouched for you. You are not the teacher that I was told. I don't know who you are, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to start off.
Are you going to the assistant principal's office?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, back in the class, Zlobs, Mindy, and Darby, what does the rest of the class think about this exchange?
Some of the
Like-
really cool kids are kind of nodding approvingly, but most of us are just shocked.
Mm-hmm. There's one kid who's also just laughing really loudly, nervously.
Mr. Magnus waits for that laughter to stop by essentially staring at the kid who's laughing for a while. That will be the last interruption of the quiz. You all have 10 more minutes. And after 10 minutes pass, you all hand in or not hand in your quiz, as is your preference. And at that point, the bell rings, and it's time for you to go to one of the special subjects. So, team, what is it? Is it gym? Is it music? Is it something else?
Art class.
Art class. All right, chat. I need the name of the art
Our
teacher
favorite.
here at Somerville Grammar School. The one caveat is that this art teacher is beloved.
Can't wait to express myself. I have so many emotions right now. Can you believe that's a load of wilted crop that he gave me a check minus?
No, that wasn't cool, Zlobs.
Mm-mm.
We need art today now more than ever.
Yeah.
They're
Are you
all
I sort of feel like
good.
Mr. Magnus needs to.
Darby, you just
Some
walked
art.
into that into
so-
that locker. Are you okay?
I'm fine physically. I am not fine mentally. I'm
Okay,
very
I-
confused.
At least we're on the same page.
I'm like worked up.
Yeah. I'm all
Um,
I'm
bothered.
Yeah,
used to feeling
me
this
too.
way at school.
Yeah, it's very clear that Mr. Magnus is a bit of a puzzle, and you're all kind of processing that in your own way. And you process it as Mindy leads you through the halls to art class. And when you get there, it is like walking into another world, a wonderful world. Walking into art class is every time just this wonderful sensory experience. It's the smell of paint, that smell of like the kiln baking off little clay bowls in the corner, that smell of smocks
And
that were washed with industrial detergent.
Hmm.
one of my favorite things about the art room is that it has this giant, like the sink is like a giant tub, like a
Mhm.
big tub, and everybody stands around it at the end of art class together to wash your hands or paintbrushes. But there's like a pump that you pump with your feet for the water to come out, and it's so fun.
Yeah. Your teacher, Arthur Paintmesser, has been here Arthur Paintmesser has been here long enough to have taught many of the parents of the students here. And as is the case, because you see Arthur Paintmesser twice a week, he starts with, "All right, everyone. I would like anyone who is comfortable sharing to share a success that they have experienced between the last time we saw each other and now."
Am I back?
You are not.
Oh no. I fell from the highest height that I ever fell from before without breaking something.
Congratulations. That is wonderful. Is that wonderful, everyone? Yes, yay, Zlobs.
3.5 stories. I don't know how it happened, but it did.
Oh,
Or didn't.
may that excitement inspire your expression today.
Oh, I'll be extra reckless, thank you.
Mindy.
I had an extremely vivid dream and woke up knowing something that I didn't know before. And also I made a new friend.
Wow, those are two great successes. Congratulations on both. The introduction of a friend and the thoughtful pondering of a dream are both windows into one's own spirit. May it inspire your expression today.
I went to the batting cages a couple nights ago, and Louisa always bats with me, but this was the first time I ever convinced Jorge, my dad, to bat too. And he did, and he had a lot of fun.
That is wonderful. No matter the age, it is important to try new things. May Jorge's enthusiasm for newness inspire your expression today.
Oh, I love Mr. Faymesser.
He's the
Me
best.
too.
Cut to the assistant principal's office. Morgan, you've been sitting in a chair that, even though it is padded, is still somehow uncomfortable. And the kind of the front desk administrator of the office, when you walked in, this is someone you've seen many times. She is very surprised to see you here. And normally when you see her, you have a nice conversation because you know everyone, but she's not talking to you because she doesn't know if she should. And after a couple of minutes, because you sit in the I'm waiting to see the assistant principal chair, after a minute or two, to make sure you didn't just walk in by accident or were like avoiding someone, she picks up the phone, says, Assistant Principal Noman, Morgan Woodstock is here to see you. No. He'll be right out. And after a few minutes, Principal Chomsky Noman opens the door to his office. Morgan Woodstock. Well,
Norman.
let's come on in and discuss things.
All right. Thanks, Brandy.
Ms. Woodstock. And you close the door, and Assistant Principal Chomsky Noman is sitting at his desk. Now, Morgan, as you know, before I was the assistant principal here, I was but a student. And as such, a relationship someone has with their grammar school lasts a lifetime. In my case, that is a very specific connection because I come here every day, and this is my desk that I'm sitting at, and I have my things over here. But even if you are not the next assistant principal of Somerville Grammar School, you will still be connected to this place throughout your life. And I want you to keep in mind how important it is to feel a positive connection with places while you explain to me why exactly you have been sent here.
Well, Norman, I think that I am a person of conviction. You know me as that, I'm sure by now. And you know that I stand by honesty and truth, which is why when our substitute teacher, Mr. Magnus, walked in, I had intel, I had data from your staff that he would be a certain way. But everything led me to believe that that was not true. And so that is what brings me to here on official Blittle League business. You are not here to see me, I'm here to see you.
His kind of eyebrow furrows. So, yeah, this is a bold power play. You are going to manipulate someone. This is 2d6 plus charm. I'm going to give you a +1 because of the sheer brazenness of the move. So give me 2d6 plus charm +1 and tell me what you get.
That's a 12.
If you wouldn't mind reading what happens on a 12 plus in manipulate someone for the crowd.
They become an ally of yours for the session.
Assistant Principal Chomsky Noman leans in conspiratorially. Your methods, Morgan Woodstock, your reputation, and your results are beyond reproach. Whatever you believe is going on, we will get to the bottom of it. What would you have us do?
Give me everything you got. Give me everything you got on Mr. Magnus.
He reaches into his wallet and is starting to...
No, I don't need to see. I don't need to see your driver's license. Put it away. Just everything you have on Mr. Magnus and who came in to substitute teach our classroom.
Sure. He spins around the flat screen that he's looking at and pulls up Mr. Magnus's file. And there's a scan of a driver's license. There's all Mr. Magnus's records, all of these things. And while the rest of your teammates are in art class having just a wonderful, whimsical memories of this to last a lifetime day, you are like pouring through data. And you get a fairly concise picture of the man. He comes very highly recommended as a long-term substitute from a number of schools in the area. The last school he taught at was Waltham Grammar School before he came here. And like you look at the driver's license and really scrutinize it, and that looks like him. His hair was a little longer in the driver's license because it's a few years old, but they definitely look like the same person. The reviews are fairly effusive. You have a home address. You kind of get a bunch of different information. So you now have a pretty good profile of the man, who he is. You read the recommendations, and the recommendations do match what the other teachers have said about him. He's kind, gregarious, but does not overstep. He's kind of lets kids kind of find their own way. He really is a proactive substitute. I really he looks the same, but the person the person in your class is a totally different person.
When you say his last school was from Waltham,
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was it between Waltham and now?
He closed out last year and spent a few weeks there at the start of this year. And that ended maybe a month ago.
Any reason?
The teacher came back.
Oh, I see. Right. Substitute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Other than the personality not checking out, this all seems legit. Noman, I appreciate your time. I think what might work for now is for me to go back to class pretending that, that you really, really gave me a harsh punishment.
Shall I write a note to that effect that you can share with Mr. Magnus, if that's his real name at all?
Right. That's his real. We don't even know. Absolutely. And then I'll talk to my Little League friends and we'll get down to the bottom of it. You'll get every piece of information we get, I promise.
He writes a note that you read it before he seals it with wax from his Somerville Grammar School signet ring, and hands it to you. You walk back to your class and look through the little window in the door, and Mr. Magnus is sitting stock still, kind of hands flat on desk, staring at a point in the back of the room. On his desk is the apple that Mindy gave him. He has taken a single bite out of it. At that point, he kind of turns and looks at you.
I have a note from the principal. I open the door. I have a note from the principal.
Please have a seat. Your classmates will be back from art class soon.
Zlobs, look. I painted the inside of Mr. Magnus's head.
It's dark purples on blacks. And you also cut a hole in the middle of it.
Oh.
That's pretty cool. I like it. I call this one broken but not bent.
Is that a picture of your arm from last summer?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Darby, what did you paint?
Hey, Darby, what did you paint?
Myself.
Oh. Hey,
Can you tell I'm a giraffe?
Yeah, I think you missed a spot, and I smushed a bunch of paint in her face.
I can definitely tell you're a giraffe.
Mm-hmm. You just lick the paint?
It's non-toxic. It's fine.
Wait, what does it taste like?
Maybe. Oops. I should have had you lick me, not the one I hadn't licked yet.
As always, Arthur Paintmaster's class is a delightful journey into the whimsy of art and youthful exuberance. And it is, as always, with a heavy heart that you depart until the next class. Mindy, you lead the group back to your classroom, where Morgan is kind of sitting at her desk, and Mr. Magnus is kind of standing up, waiting for everyone to return.
I would have to give it a C for the paint.
The taste of it?
Yeah, C. Solid C. C tier.
Great.
C tier. What?
Oh, hey, Morgan.
Morgan,
Hey,
what's up?
Mathers, Zlobs, Darcy.
What? Yeah, what's
Darcy,
What?
You're completely covered in paint, Darcy.
Yeah, she's
What?
a giraffe.
I'm covered in paint?
It doesn't matter. I learned some information about our substitute teacher, Mr. Magnus.
What'd you learn?
Before you share that, Morgan, I'm going to need you to make a 2d6 plus cool roll. This is to see if you are able to furtively share this information without getting in trouble.
Can I be helpful?
Of course. How would you like to be helpful?
Could I drop the thought into Mr. Magnus's head that he lost something important in his book bag?
Sure. Mindy, we'll start with you. 2d6 plus cool for the help out roll. I'll give you +1 because you are using psychic powers.
Okay. 9.
All right. So, Morgan, you are going to get a +1 to your roll, but on a partial success, both Mindy and you will be exposed to the consequences. Morgan?
What?
Make the roll.
7. Now, with that +1.
Okay.
Thanks, Mathers.
How do I want to do this?
Nicely, with care.
I'm going to give you 3 facts. You're going to make 2 of them true. You share the information with everyone. You share the information with everyone. Mindy remains class helper.
Oh my God, sir.
The entire class does not get detention.
All right.
I think we know what we have to do.
I'm not giving everyone detention, Mathers.
We are, though. What else can we do?
I'm sorry. I communicate this information to everyone, but especially to Mathers, who unfortunately loses her helper position.
Oh, who does it go to? Who's next in succession?
Folks, I found out he comes from Waltham, as in Mindy, as in the Waltham Claw Company. Can you see if he has a soul? Mindy, can you see if he has a soul?
No. The Windflowers stopped taking souls for clocks. They retired to a peaceful life of crime.
Mathers, I know that's what Susie said, but you just got to do the check for me, please.
Susie wouldn't lie to me.
Mathers.
Probably.
Mathers, do it. You have to. Just try. Oh. Hey, Mr. Magnus.
Ha! Oh, you're sneaky.
Mindy. It takes a level head and desire to be helpful to remain class helper. I am not seeing this right now. You there in the back, you skipped a grade, correct? Jorts Grundle, who is sitting in the back. Yes, Mr. Magnus, I did. Are you capable of being a class helper? Oh, that's a meatball, Mr. Magnus.
I mean, this just makes sense because Jorts is Mindy's backup.
Yep. So your large, viscous ogre friend and backup second base person, Jorts Grundle, is now Mindy. He has taken your job.
I'm sorry, Mathers. Can you check?
I probably shouldn't talk for the rest of class, Morgan.
Oh, Mindy, you're crying again.
Stop telling the class that I'm crying. Nobody
I'm sorry.
can tell other than you.
I'm sorry. I'm here. Here. Take my jacket. Take my cool jacket. No, wait, no. Take my cool shades. You can hide. I hide my emotions all the time. There you go. Hide behind the cool. That's what I do every day.
Well, so what do we want to do?
Mr. Magnus, can I have a huddle with you outside?
Jorts, as class helper, you are responsible for the class, while Darby and I have a huddle. You got it, boss. And he looks at you, Mindy. And boss.
Oh my goodness. You know what? Jorts has never called anyone else boss besides Mindy.
In the hallway, you and Mr. Magnus. He is staring you right in the eyes.
Let's walk. Start walking down
He
the hallway.
does see, yes, indeed. And yeah, the two of you start doing a lap of the hall.
Do a lap. And then there's a door out to the playground. There's no recess going on right now, so I open the door and walk out. Let's go. This is where I do my teacher meetings. Mr. Magnus, I don't appreciate the way that you've been talking to my friends. You seem to be having some sort of power trip, and I don't know who you are. So if you could just stay still for a minute, and I take a few steps back, and then run at him and take off and try to pick him up to take him up.
Oh my God, Darby!
Things have heightened.
Uh-oh.
What is your intention in doing this? I'm trying to decide what I want you to roll.
Mm-hmm. My intention is well, sort of two parts. I just kind of want him to like to shake him out of his like cool, calm demeanor, because he's like, I want to break him a little bit, and then I not like get him to like talk, basically, get him to talk through the shock of being and fear of being in the air, so I can ask him what he is or who he is. Gotcha.
So this is going to be, so essentially, yeah, you're really like, this is almost a, this is your way of kind of intimidating him into getting information.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say this is going to be investigate a mystery. You just happen to be doing it by flying him up to your office.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a little complicated. This is going to be 2d6 plus sharp. I'm going to give you a +1 because the audacity is magnificent. But instead of one of the questions, there's going to be kind of an option, which is, well, let's call it the Mr. Magnus doesn't defend himself option, which is going to cost a question.
Okay.
So if you get a partial success, you can ask him one question. You can ask him the question, and then he will defend himself, whatever that means. Or you would just say, okay, he doesn't defend himself, but I don't ask a question, Or if you get a full success, hey, that's great. So 2d6 plus sharp plus 1, and let's see what you get.
11.
All right.
I don't like seeing Mindy cry.
You can ask one question first, and then we could decide whether or not you want to use the second one to prevent him from defending himself or something else.
Okay. What happened here?
It's a good question. Now, the way this shakes out, what I'm about to tell you, is because you bring him into the sky and he does not exactly know what to do about it to maintain the illusion of who he is. Essentially, you kind of overload his ability to improvise. So what has happened here is this. This is not Mr. Magnus. This is a very, very good, not perfect, but very good magical illusion of Mr. Magnus that was created based on memories of him, as well as someone's take on what an adult should be like.
An adult?
Yeah.
What? Okay.
So you are currently flying a fairly good magical illusion into the sky, and he starts saying things that don't make sense. Like,
okay.
we are going to return to class for chapter 4. It is because chapter 4, and tell me of the sunflowers this year. Are they going to be good again? What do you think about the sunflowers this year? And
what?
Also his hand starts to fade away into mist. Like bits of him are starting to flake off. Anyway, that was question 1. So, question 2, do you want Mr. Magnus to defend himself, or do you have another question?
I have another question, but it's not on the list. Okay. Yeah, he can defend himself.
Mr. Magnus does so by bursting into a puff of sand that blows away.
What? Ah!
Like it just, where he was just continues to flake off until eventually you're just kind of carrying the wisp of a person, and then that eventually goes away.
Does the sand stick to all of her paint?
It does not. Sand's probably the wrong word. Yeah, actually, Darby, you would probably know what this is because you hang out with Morgan. Actually, I have a specific name for it.
Being snapped.
Yeah,
What?
as mentioned, things made some. I had to make some changes. He essentially was made out of etheric chalk,
Oh.
which means that you're pretty sure that he was crafted in a ritual, and he just exploded back into chalk.
Okay. Mr. Magnus? Are you for real, Gonzies? Okay. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna land and go back to the classroom.
Darby, I'll ask you. You are in control of this. Did everyone in the class see you fly your teacher into the sky and then cause him to explode into chalk?
Yeah.
Darcy, what the heck?
So you return to a class where everyone that doesn't play Blittle League is screaming. And everyone that does is looking at you. Except for George.
Okay.
Everyone calm down. That is one heck of a meatball. But rest assured, I'm pretty sure this is Blittle League business. At this point, Chomsky Noman runs in as well. Well, we'll give you a few seconds before he bounds down the hallway.
Okay. I just want to state for the record that I did not hurt Mr. Magnus. Physically, he wasn't what he seemed. All I did was have a conversation where I'm comfortable, and then he poofed. He poofed away. Morgan, Blue Leaguers, we're gonna let's huddle. Everyone else, Mr. Magnus will be back soon. Maybe. Or we'll
Darby?
have a teacher soon.
Darby, did you explode Mr. Magnus?
No.
Zlobs, let's do a poll here. I have a feeling I know where it's going to go, but I want to ask anyway. Could you put a poll in the chat? Did the entire school see Mr. Magnus explode? Yes or no?
Oh, do we even...
I mean, I'm going to ask. What if the chat doesn't want chaos? What if,
What has the chat not wanted chaos?
They're already, by text, already answering.
We are a democracy, okay? And even if the pollsters say that this thing's going to go in a certain direction, we're still going to go to the polls.
Okay, 1 minute, starting now. Did the entire school see Mr. Magnus? What was the verb I'm going to use?
Explode.
Explode, okay.
While the
George?
chaos is happening, I'm gonna go up to Darcy and be like, I know what happened. I've seen that kind of energy dissolution before.
Okay, so he wasn't. I mean, I know he wasn't real, but like a real human, but he really wasn't a real human, right?
No, he was made to ritual.
Okay, that's never happened before.
Wait, you could do that? Why haven't we done that?
I can't do that. I've seen it happen by other mages.
We gotta learn how to do that. That's cool.
Well, I'm an electric witch.
Oh, sorry, someone's brand.
Jorts, do you know the classroom protocol for this?
Uh-oh, Mindy brought out the handbook.
Boss, I'm in a little over my head here. Do I have
Do
to
you want
teach
me to
math?
take over? Just say the word. I can step back in.
We're not going to roll for this one, Mindy. This is up to you. Does Jorts turn over class helper back to you, or is this a moment where Jorts grows as a person?
No, Jorts is relieved to hand it back to me.
Of course he is. Everyone, my role as class helper allows me in times of emergency to deputize another class helper. I deputize Mindy Mathers as class helper. And kind of all eyes swing over to you.
Thank you, Jorts. I walk to the front of the room and phone the front office.
The poll has closed of a final score of 7-1. Thank you. Someone voted for not chaos. Thank you very much for that. But yes, the chat is filled with monsters. The entire school did see Mr. Madnix explode.
You do indeed call the front office, and you request the proper protocols. But the assistant principal hops on. This is Chomsky Noman, Somerville Grammar School alum and current assistant principal. To whom do I have the honor of speaking to?
Hello, Principal Noman. This is Mindy Mathers. I am once again the classroom helper for room 105.
I assume you are calling because of the man that exploded in the sky.
That's exactly right. We are going to need an adult to supervise our classroom right away.
Of course. Please hold down the fort until an adult arrives.
Will do. Thank you, Principal.
Of course, class helper Mathers.
Is Mindy still wearing Zlobs' jacket and sunglasses?
Yes.
While she's doing this?
Presumably. It's up to Mindy.
Everything's under control, everyone. Don't worry. There will be an adult here soon.
Thanks, Mindy.
Thanks, Mindy.
The
Darby?
adult is... when all of this happened, you could hear kind of throughout the building screaming and what is that? And oh my goodness. A couple things kind of happen all at once. One is assistant principal Chomsky Noman comes to the class himself to direct instruction. Two, the principal makes a phone call. And within about 15 minutes, the unmistakable sound of retro rockets firing in the sky is heard, and umpire Dredge lands in a full suit of power armor in your playground. He proceeds to walk into your classroom, and through the loudspeakers of his power armor, all active Blittle Leaguers, please huddle up in the hallway.
Hey, Umpire Drudge.
Woodstock.
Umpire Dredge.
So you kind of recount to Umpire Drudge, who is very by the book, essentially taking an action report in real time. Essentially, like the tactical office would show up if like things have resolved themselves, but because this is a situation in which a magic ritual man exploded in the sky, Umpire Drudge is treating it like there is still something happening. So that's why he's here in full power armor, is the story. So he kind of takes it from here, and he kind of looks. Okay.
You may want to know that when Mr. Magnus was starting to sort of disintegrate and saying strange things that made it clear that he was not human, he kept asking about the sunflowers and about Little League business, and I don't know why.
Interesting.
Two things, Umpire Dredge. Number one, I am the classroom helper in room 105. So I'm acting as sort of a liaison here between you and the classroom if you need anything. And second of all,
Noted.
Darby, do you still have any of that chalk on your hands?
No, it all. I don't think so. I don't see any. It didn't even stick to my body, which.
Wait, can I use a little bit of magic detection to see if any remain?
Well, you have as a free question for investigate a mystery, you have what magic was done here, which means, if that's what you're looking for, you don't even need to roll.
Yeah, can I see if there's any left on Darby? Any of the existing magic remnants?
The answer is sort of. You get kind of a picture of where the ritual was. Like, you don't need the actual chalk for it. Like, what's on Darby is almost like a floating memory. And you kind of get a sense, like kind of a place in your mind, which, because you know the address of Mr. Magnus, you surmise is his house. Because like you imagine like a small house overlooking a forest. And when you remembered seeing like his driver's license and his home address, and it's in the Fells.
The Fells.
The ritual was done in the Fells.
Do we need to do an early dismissal to go to the Fells?
The Fells dangerous. We need to prepare for the Fells.
If I hold onto Darby's hand, can I use the magical remnants to try and tune into who did the ritual?
I'll let you try. That's pretty tough. 2d6 plus weird, but I'm going to give you a -1.
Okay. Oh no. Oh wait, a -1. Oh, 8.
Here's your choice. You're all like you're psychics and magicians and angels, and like your powers are combined here.
And what am I?
You're you, Zlobs, and no one else can be.
I'm unique.
But you're all Blittle Leaguers.
Special guy.
And all of you essentially kind of combine your powers and spirit to conduct kind of a miniature tracking ritual. So here's the option. So tell me if you want to take this bargain on the partial success. You get a sense of who it is, but they know that you know.
Yeah, they know that we know.
They know that you three know. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy.
You're Zlobs.
We're going to jump ahead in time a little bit. The person in your mind, Mindy, is both familiar to you and not familiar. You feel a lot of kind of confusion about it and unease. It is a person that is important, but it's not really them. It takes you a while to unpack exactly what this is, but by the time we catch up to the future, you will know. You all armor up and head to the Fells. You're driving in Listerine, you're all packing heavy. The Fells are dangerous after all. Mr. Magnus lives on the edge of the Fells. You pull up out front. The front door, there's next to the front door is a nice front window. And through the front window, you see a couple of things. One, you see the back door of the house open, and the unmistakable tracks of muddy bicycle wheels that have rolled out through the back door and out the back exit probably a few minutes before you arrived. Two is you see Mr. Magnus sitting bolt upright on the couch, staring ahead at a blank wall.
Mr. Magnus?
You break in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Door's open.
Yeah, we break in.
You break in. The back door is open. Zlobs is here. You break in.
I go through the door. That's
You
what
open
I
the
do.
door. Yeah, you open the door.
It's the door. I open it.
You apply pressure. You apply a supinating motion to the knob, and the door opens.
A what?
Oh, the act of turning.
Soup?
Yeah, soup.
It's called soup.
Supinating.
Is that where soup comes from? You turn a tomato and it turns into soup? I digress.
Yeah.
Is that where supine comes from?
You combine your powers to snap Mr. Magnus out of the trance he was in. Of note, the couch is surrounded by etheric chalk. And you kind of like Morgan, you kind of disrupt all of that. Mindy, you kind of like tap his mind a couple of times. Darby, you make sure there's a soul bouncing around in there. Zlobs, you make sure that the house isn't wired to explode. You do all of the things necessary to ensure that Mr. Magnus's conscious mind returns. Which it does, like the cloud in front of his eyes lifts.
Mr. Magnus?
Yes. You are in my house.
We're
Are
also
you
in your
Yeah.
class.
Well, he loses consciousness for a second. He's very overwhelmed. He then wakes back up. And
Hi, here's a tissue for your bloody nose.
thank you. I know you all from the class roster. You're room 105, Somerville Grammar.
Yeah.
Oh, heavens.
Yeah.
I missed the whole day.
Don't worry, we're here to take care of you. It's us, Blittle League, and of course, the class assistant.
Mindy Mathers, class helper. Yes, I saw the notes.
Yeah.
Your work earlier this year is exemplary, I've been told.
Thank you.
I was getting ready to leave. I was going to get in my car when an old student of mine knocked on my front door. Had something important to tell me. I, of course, was willing to take an extra minute. I was going to come in early anyway, so I had the time.
Wait, old student? Who is your old student?
From Waltham. Good kid. Last name was Chen. The Chen family bicycle bounds down Route 2, all the way back to Waltham. Its rider hops off it, and it continues for another 10 or so feet before it falls over in the backyard. Back door of the house opens. The rider runs in, looks at his older sister, Susie, and then runs up to his room. He hops into a video chat with the rest of the Windflowers. Hey, everybody, it's Alex. It didn't work. That damn ritual only lasted a few hours. We'll do something else.
Are there any other questions? Any other questions in the chat? How does the molting process work, Mindy?
No, we're done.
We're all set.
Turn my
This
mic
press
off.
conference is over,
Going
everybody.
home.
Thank you so much.
Any more questions? Not taking any more questions.